Right now, on flight tracking screens monitored by intelligence analysts around the world, three blips are crawling across separate continents. One departed from Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, another lifted off from Chkalovsky Military Airfield outside Moscow, a third climbed out of an undisclosed People's Liberation Army Air Force base in central China. These are not commercial airliners. They are not cargo flights. They are the E-4B Nightwatch, the Ilyushin 1L80 Maxdome, and a modified Y-20 Kunping. These are nuclear command post aircraft. Airborne war rooms hardened against electromagnetic pulse, designed for one singular purpose: to command their nation's nuclear arsenal after the ground beneath them has already been vaporized. When one of these planes takes to the sky unannounced, intelligence agencies take notice. When all three go airborne at the same time, it means the world's most powerful militaries are actively preparing for the end of the world as we know it. And right now, the mainstream media is not saying a single word about it. Before I show you the satellite imagery that reveals exactly why these planes launched, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel is where you get the intelligence briefings the networks refuse to air. Now, let's get to the impact zone. Let me walk you through why this matters, because the technical details here are everything. The E-4B Nightwatch is a militarized Boeing 747-200 operated by the United States Air Force. It carries a crew of up to 112 personnel, has mid-air refueling capability, giving it functionally unlimited range, and is shielded against nuclear electromagnetic pulse. It contains the equipment necessary for the President of the United States or the Secretary of Defense to issue launch orders to every leg of the American nuclear triad: the intercontinental ballistic missiles in their silos, the submarine-launched warheads beneath the oceans, and the strategic bombers already loaded and waiting on the tarmac. This aircraft does not go up for routine exercises without prior public notice. There was no notice. Russia's Ilyushin 1L80, codenamed Maxdome by NATO, serves an identical function for the Kremlin. It is the flying command center that allows Russian leadership to prosecute a nuclear war from above the clouds. Its windows are sealed shut to protect against thermal flash. China's Y-20 variant is newer and less documented by Western intelligence, but its role in Beijing's nuclear command and control architecture is becoming unmistakable. 3 Doomsday planes, 3 nuclear powers, all airborne within the same 6-hour window. That detail matters enormously, and I am about to show you why. While the television news anchors recycled footage of minor artillery exchanges and read prepared statements from diplomatic press conferences, something far more consequential was unfolding under the cover of darkness. Classified satellite imagery, portions of which have now leaked to open-source intelligence communities, captured Russian Antonov An-124 Ruslan heavy transport aircraft on the tarmac of an Iranian military airbase. The timestamp reads approximately 0300 hours local time. Ground crews under tactical blackout conditions were photographed offloading large, canvas-covered objects from the cargo bays. Intelligence analysts identified these objects within hours. They are Iskander-M mobile short-range ballistic missile systems. Now, the Iskander-M is not just any missile. Designated the SS-26 Stone by NATO, it carries a payload to a range of roughly 500 kilometers with a circular error probable of under 5 meters. That means it hits within a car's length of its target. It can carry conventional high-explosive fragmentation warheads, penetration warheads, cluster munitions, or, and this is where the world changes, tactical nuclear warheads with yields ranging from 5 to 50 kilotons. For reference, the bomb dropped on Hiroshima was 15 kilotons. Reports from multiple intelligence sources now indicate that the warheads accompanying these Iskander systems are not conventional. They are nuclear. Stay with me, because what comes next changes the entire strategic map of the Middle East and possibly the world. Russia has not merely sold Iran a weapons system. It has physically placed its own nuclear deterrent on Iranian soil, in the immediate vicinity of Iran's most fortified and strategically critical installation, the Fordow fuel enrichment plant. Fordow is buried deep inside a mountain near the city of Qom. It has been the primary target of every hypothetical American or Israeli strike plan for over a decade. Dozens of GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, the largest bunker busters in the American arsenal, were specifically designed with Fordo in mind. But now the calculus is shattered. What Russia has done is deploy what strategists call a nuclear umbrella. It is the same concept that protects NATO members under America's nuclear shield. An attack on one is treated as an attack on all, triggering a nuclear response. Moscow is now signaling, without ambiguity, that a conventional strike on Fordo or on these Iskander positions will be interpreted as an attack on Russian nuclear forces. And under Russian military doctrine, specifically their 2020 updated nuclear posture, an attack on Russian nuclear assets authorizes a nuclear response. Read that again. A conventional Israeli airstrike on an Iranian nuclear facility now mathematically risks a Russian nuclear retaliation. The chessboard is not just complicated anymore. It is deadlocked at the highest possible stakes. Most people think the danger here is a miscalculation in the Middle East. In reality, the danger is that every calculation is being made perfectly, and the conclusion is still catastrophic. This is the Cuban Missile Crisis in reverse. In 1962, the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, 90 miles from American shores, and the world held its breath for 13 days. Today, Russia has placed tactical nuclear weapons in Iran, directly shielding a facility that the United States and Israel have spent years planning to destroy. The geometry is mirrored, the stakes are identical, but there is one critical difference. In 1962, there were 2 players at the table. Today, there are at least 5: Russia, the United States, China, Israel, and Iran. The room for a diplomatic off-ramp just got exponentially smaller, and the money is already moving. While the public scrolls through social media unaware, financial markets are screaming. Gold surged 15% in a single trading session. That is not a normal fluctuation. That is institutional capital sprinting towards safe haven assets. Defense sector insiders report that major contractors have activated continuity of operations protocols, relocating key personnel to hardened facilities. Oil futures are climbing sharply on the implicit understanding that any kinetic action near the Persian Gulf could shut down the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 20% of the world's oil supply transits daily. We are not talking about a regional skirmish affecting gas prices. We are talking about a potential systemic shock to the entire global economy. The contrast between what you see on your television and what is actually happening on military radar screens right now could not be more stark. News anchors are discussing trade policy and celebrity scandals. Meanwhile, nuclear command aircraft are circling at 40,000 feet, Iskander launchers are being camouflaged on Iranian soil, and gold is pricing in the unthinkable. The public is being kept calm, not because the situation is under control, but because the alternative, mass awareness of how close we are to the brink, would trigger the very panic that governments cannot afford right now. So here is where we stand. Russian tactical nuclear weapons are now operationally deployed on Iranian territory, shielding the single most important target in any future strike plan. 3 superpowered Doomsday aircraft went airborne simultaneously for the first time in recorded open-source tracking history. Financial markets are behaving as though a global conflict is no longer a theoretical risk, but an active probability. And the diplomatic channels that would normally de-escalate a crisis of this magnitude are either frozen or non-existent. This is the most dangerous nuclear escalation event since the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. And it is happening right now, in real time, while most of the world has no idea. With Russian tactical nuclear warheads now physically shielding Iranian nuclear facilities and doomsday planes from 3 superpowers circling overhead, I need your tactical analysis. Do you believe the United States and Israel will accept this new reality and stand down from strike plans? Or are we sleepwalking into the first nuclear exchange since 1945? Drop your assessment in the comments. I read every single one.